The mirroring function can copy data packets in their entirety to a specified destination port without affecting packet processing on the device. The destination port is directly or indirectly connected to an analyzer for packet analysis. When an attack or fault occurs on the network administrator can use the mirroring function to obtain and analyze packets in order to locate the attack source or fault cause. Port mirroring copies packets received or sent by a mirrored port to a specified observing port. Enabling port mirroring is useful in locating network faults but may affect device performance. Exercise caution when using this function and disable it after you complete fault locating. In this video, we will learn how to configure port mirroring on a NetEngine series router. As shown in the figure, a user host is connected to the network through interface 1 on device, and an analyzer is directly connected to interface 2 on device. Network access traffic of host needs to be monitored and analyzed by the analyzer. To meet this requirement, we need to enable port mirroring on device, using interface 1 as a mirrored port and interface 2 as a local observing port. In this way, packets received by interface 1 can be output to the analyzer through interface 2. Next, let's see how to configure port mirroring. The configuration process consists of the following steps. First, configure an observing port to send the traffic received from a mirrored port to the analyzer. Second, configure a mirrored port to mirror packets on the port. Third, configure the mirroring function to mirror port traffic to the observing port. Finally, verify the configuration. The first step is to configure an observing port, which is used to send the traffic received from a mirrored port to the analyzer. Configure an observing index on 25GE0/8/0. In this example, the index is 1. An observing index can be configured on only one observing port. The second step is to configure a mirrored port and enable the mirroring function on the port. For example, we can enter the interface view of the mirrored port 25G0/8/3, and then enable uplink port mirroring in the interface view. Do not configure an interface as both an observing port and a mirrored port. The third step is to mirror port traffic to the observing port. To achieve this, specify the configured observing port and associate it with the mirrored port based on the observing index 1. After the preceding configurations are completed, all packets received by the mirrored port 25G0/8/3 are mirrored to the observing port 25G0/8/0. The final step is to verify the configuration. To verify the configuration of the observing port, run the display port observing interface command. The command output shows that the observing index on 25G0/8/0 is 1, which is configured in step 1. This means that the interface status is normal. To verify the configuration of the mirrored port, run the display port mirroring interface command. In the command output, port is displayed in the type column, indicating that port mirroring has been configured on 25G0/8/3. In addition, the mirrored traffic is the uplink traffic, as indicated by the inbound parameter configured in step 2. That's all about how to configure port mirroring on a NetEngine series router. Thank you for watching.